Now, the third short film tries to answer the question, what should I consider when finding the right job for me? In other words, how do you find a job which is well matched? And that's where I begin, really. You're not looking for the perfect job or the ideal job. That's actually a dangerous strategy, because what tends to happen, and a lot of fresh graduates do this, is that they aim high to start with interesting jobs in really well-known organisations. They throw their CV into the ring along with hundreds of other applications, and they don't get much back. In fact, what they hear is radio silence, and then they tend to lower their sights, sometimes even going for jobs which can be done by non-graduates. So I'd like you to think today about work as a healthy deal. All work is a compromise, if you like, between what you want to get out of life and what an organisation wants to get out of you. And in the early stages of your career, lots of different kinds of work experiences can work. It's a sort of working experiment. And that's one positive way of thinking about it. But that also means being slightly careful not to fall into the trap of taking the first thing that comes along and staying in it forever. So yes, internships should be on your agenda. It may be other kinds of short-term work that just pays the bills for a little while. But think constantly about how that work fits into your career story. In other words, what will it add to your CV? Now, how do you find out what really would suit you? Well, there's a simple triangulation, really, which is a good beginning point. There are no perfect career tests that say this is the absolute only job in the universe that will work for you. What tends to happen is that careers experts look at a range of characteristics in you and preferences, and they tend to point towards a family of jobs, a grouping of jobs. And the way I do it is to look at three aspects of human personality. I look at what people do, I look at what people know about, and I look at who people are. So the three magic words for me are do, know, and be. So the doing bit is about skills. And we all have skills. We learn them from a very early age, and we acquire new skills all the time, and we adapt our existing skills. So that's the first thing. Understand what you're good at, understand how to talk about it, understand how to back up a claim that you've got a skill with appropriate evidence. But something else too. Discover what your motivated skills are. And they're not that hard to find if you're thinking about projects coming up, whether they're study related or work related or even just fun activities. When you're imagining the week ahead and some of those activities are part of that week, you look forward to them. So do a little bit more clear thinking on that and say, well, what will I actually be doing? What is the skill I will be using that I find interesting and motivating? And collect a few of those, because you start to then understand what you're looking for, but you also understand how to talk about yourself in a way which is much more convincing to others. The second word is the word know, and that's what you choose to know about. It's not just about the stuff that's been poured into you through educational processes, and much of that will be interesting and useful, but it's also about the things that you choose to know about when you have control over your own time. Even things that you like to talk about, whether that's different kinds of brands, organisations, technologies, principles, ideas, systems, things in the news. What do you like to talk about and think about? Because those will probably be closely related to the type of work sector that you should be involved in. And the third one is about personality. And personality covers a broad range of things, from your working style through to the values that you bring to work. What is the purpose of your work? What outcomes look meaningful and purposeful to you? And outcomes can range from creating something completely new, working with other people, working for other people, doing something which aids your community or society as a whole, doing something which nobody has ever done before. These are all expressions of personal values that we can achieve through our work. So the final thing to say, really, once you've gone through this short process of triangulation and self-discovery, thinking about what you like to do and what you like to think about and know about and who you are as a working person, is how to transform that, how to turn that awareness round so that it becomes outward facing. It's great to look at yourself for a little while, particularly if it helps you describe your strengths to other people. But it's a really important step to say, that's my curiosity as well. I want to find out about roles and organisations and types of jobs where I'm going to be reasonably well matched. And it's very hard to do that through desk research. By far the best tool available is other people. And that's the great thing about alumni networks. It's the great thing about any kind of network, really. It's the great thing about using something like LinkedIn as a way of reaching out to people and turning connections into conversations, even if it's a phone conversation, having the opportunity to say to somebody, what's your working day like? And how did you get into it? And what do you enjoy about it? And what's not so great? And what's going on in your industry? That kind of research is fantastic. And don't forget the magic final question, which is, who else should I be talking to? So do your human research, do some mapping, find out what's out there and what suits you, and take some steps forward in terms of active exploration so that you do have a good sense of the work that will be a healthy match for who you are right now.